2 weeks of your life?
Yeah, we're on the safari right now.
We do ask that guests do keep their facial covering on over their nose, their mouth, and their chin for the duration of their 2-week-long adventure. Please utilize that creature spotting guide up above your head to see what animals we might be lucky enough to see while we are out on our 2-week safari. Now, I do recommend using a sports type setting on your camera if you will be taking photography on this photography safari. This first area is the Little Atari Forest, known for the forest animals that sometimes camouflage themselves in the woods around us. So we're going to be looking for animals that naturally live
look at
him. Over to the left at the top of the hill are some bongo. Both the male and the female bongo have lyre-shaped horns that angle backwards, so they're able to dive into the brush around them without getting tangled up. Over to the right is an animal that appears to be wearing zebra pants. However, that animal is not a zebra. That is an okapi. An okapi is the cousin to the giraffe. They do have 7 vertebrae in their necks like a giraffe, as well as a human being, just different sizes. Straight up ahead of us and on the right are some greater kudu. We know that those are female greater kudu because they do lack horns. The male greater kudu have spiral-shaped horns that are up to 6 feet in length. Over to the left is a black rhinoceros. Black rhinoceros are about 2,500 pounds. They are still hunted for the keratin that is in their horns. The keratin in a rhinoceros horn is the same thing that makes up your hair and your fingernails, and there's actually no medicinal properties in a rhinoceros horn. Now, the black rhinoceros is a forest rhinoceros, and they do forage in the forest for foliage. They have a prehensile upper lip that allows them to do that. Now, as we exit the Little Atari Forest region, we are going to be entering into the Safi River region, where we will be looking for animals that might possibly be gathering around the wetlands. Specifically, we're going to be looking into the Safi River to see if we see any shadows or maybe some bubbles. We might be seeing a Nile hippopotamus. They are about 5,000 pounds. Oh, there's one out.
Where?
Now, they typically come out of the water in the evening to consume about 90 pounds of foliage, as well as at night to socialize with other Nile hippopotamus. They will typically tend to stay submerged under the water for about 8 hours of the day, rising to the surface for air as they need it about every 8 hours or so.
Yep, those are just birds.
Oh, they could be underwater for 8 hours? That's great.
Over to the left is another one of those Nile hippopotamus.
Oh yeah, he's in there right now.
In the water. I didn't see
In the movies.
To the left is a small colonial group of pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their bright pink back during nesting season, so when we do see one with a bright pink back, we always look for a nest. To the left, underneath the water, is a Nile hippopotamus running along the bottom of the water.
You see him?
No, I don't see him.
I see him.
They don't actually swim, they will actually run along the bottom of the Safi River.
But said it's too heavy to swim.
Yeah.
Over to the left is a whole float of Nile crocodile. Nile crocodile are 16 to 20 feet long. They have a bite force over 2,000 pounds per square inch.
Oh, look at him.
Nile crocodile have actually been known to run up to 20 miles per hour. They have actually been known to jump, so we did just see them from a very safe distance away. Now, as we exit the Safi River region, we're going to be entering into a much drier region of Africa, and this area is known as the Savannah of Africa. We're going to be looking for animals that might be forming mixed herds out on the Savannah. The first sign of the Savannah is the baobab tree to the right. The baobab tree is a deciduous tree with leaves only 3 months out of the year. The animals of the Savannah can actually rip open that very large tree They will eat the bark and they will chew on the bark to gain access to over 20,000 gallons of water that is inside that allows them to stay nourished and hydrated while they are living out on the savanna during the harsher climate times of Africa. Straight up on the right is a dazzle of Hartman's mountain zebra. Hartman's mountain zebra are a black animal with white stripes. If you look at their muzzle is black. That tells us they are a black animal with white stripes. The Hartman's mountain zebra is the only zebra with a dewlap at the front of their neck. Should a predator grab onto the dewlap at the front of their neck, they're actually not harming the Hartman's mountain zebra. And the zebra is able to evade the attack because no vital organs were harmed in the process. Hartman's mountain zebra do tend to run around in dazzles. The reason why it is called a dazzle is because it tends to dazzle the predators. The predators think it's one giant organism that is black and white versus just one small zebra. To the left, it looks like there are some predators over there. Those are African painted dogs. African painted dogs are not related to the dogs you have at home, and they are not related to wolves. The dogs you have at home and wolves have 5 toes. African painted dogs actually have 4 toes. They're actually more closely related to jackals. Now they do have a similar familial pack of 5 to 15 family members with an alpha male and an alpha female. Or to the left, sitting down in the shade, are some sable antelope known for their strength and their mighty powerful kick that can actually incapacitate predators. They're the strongest antelope of the savanna.
Look over there. I see another.
To the left and the right are some red clay pits. And those are termite mounds.
Whoa.
Some of the larger animals like the elephants and the rhinoceros will tend to knock down those termite mounds. Some of the smaller animals like springbok antelope will actually climb up on top of those termite mounds to get a better perspective over the savanna. To the left is a whole confusion of white-bearded wildebeest, also known as new, for the new sounds that they do tend to make. They do exist in confusions of up to 1.5 million. They do migrate over 1,000 miles every year. Over to the right is another view of the dazzle of Hartman's mountain zebra over there. Hartman's mountain zebra are actually born with their full-size legs, and their body actually has to grow into their legs.
New Orleans and New Orleans.
Laying down just past the white-bearded African wildebeest are 2 Patterson's Eland. Patterson's Eland are the tallest antelope of the savanna. They do stand at about 6 feet at the shoulder when they are full grown, but those 2 are actually sitting down.
To the right. Good.
To the left and the right are some of the broken down termite mounds. And we are coming up on a Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffe, as adults, are about 18 to 20 feet tall. As babies, they are born about 6 feet tall, and they need about an hour and a half of time to stand up with their mother prior to being pursued by predators. Irregular pattern patches on their coat. A reticulated giraffe is different than a Maasai giraffe. They have a more regular appearance to the patches on their coat. Over to the left, well, it's more than one. There's a whole tower of Maasai giraffe over there. Maasai giraffes sleep about 30 minutes in a 24-hour time period, and they do typically tend to sleep with their eyes open, standing up. Typically during the daylight hours, they will sleep. They do have ossicones at the top of their head, with pom-poms at the top of the ossicones on top of their head. Now, as a Maasai giraffe ages, those pom-poms at the top of the ossicones on top of their head do actually start to disappear.
24 hours.
Wow.
That's all I need was 30 minutes.
Maasai giraffe has a 2-foot-long heart inside their very large chest. Helps them to pump their blood all the way up to the top of their head.
30 minutes, pop back up.
Good to go.
Get my third.
Straight up ahead of us, and on the right, I do see two African elephants. African elephants, when they are waving their ears like that, are actually trying to cool off. They can drop their body temperature by about 15 degrees by waving their ears like that.
Where? I don't see anything.
To the right?
To the left is an area where mandrill monkeys have been known to be
Oh, they're back
sighted.
there.
Oh,
Okay.
They got
The
the
male
elephant's pin.
mandrill monkeys are
It's
about
the
100
elephant.
pounds, and the females are about 30 pounds with bright bluish red faces as well as rumps that actually get brighter as they get more excited or aggravated by something. I see one way back over there towards the wall.
What? Oh, she's talking about something over there.
Now, African elephants, like the ones to the right, are actually still poached for the ivory in their tusks. They are also hunted by farmers because they trample farmers, their families, their homes, and their crops. So the farmers in their self-defense are poaching the elephants. Looks like this road is closed, so we will be taking a detour. Detours do get a little bit bumpy.
Said the road was closed.
Yeah.
The road?
That wasn't the road.
This is an aerial bridge, and there has been a washout, so I do ask that everybody think happy thoughts. I'm gonna make it across the bridge and not end up down on the Savi River with Nile crocodile. And even though Nile hippopotamus might be very cute, their teeth actually do grow to 16 inches long, and they are very territorial animals. Would not want to go swimming with them. Looks like it. We all made it across. This is a lucky truck.
We all made it
I'd
across.
say the same for the safari truck behind us or any of the safari trucks tomorrow. Someone might end up down there on that Safi River.
Looks like we all
This
made it
area is
across.
an area of red clay with signs of African elephants such as tusk marks and footprints. That tells us there are elephants nearby. African elephants will actually eat red clay to gain essential vitamins and minerals that they need in their diet. Now, way off in the distance to the left, I do see an African elephant way off over there. Might be able to get a better look. I do not know. But to all the mothers in the
Oh,
group, an
way
African
over there.
elephant's gestational period is 22 months. That is almost 2 years. The babies are born at over 200 pounds. They're very large babies. And the African elephants that do live over to the left are part of the Disney Conservation Fund project, the Elephants and Bees project, where we are listening to the elephants and everything they have to say, their secret elephant language. They communicate infrasonically through sound waves in the ground, and they can actually determine what each other are saying through vibrations in their feet and determining. So we've taken that information to Africa, where the African people are poaching the elephants because the elephants are trampling farmers, their families, their homes, and their crops. And we are building living fences made of bees and beehives out in Africa. The elephants stay far away from those beehive fences. They do not like bees. They will run away from bees. And it protects the elephants and the farmers. The farmers get to keep their family, their home, their crop, their community. They have a secondary source of income from the honey as well as the bees. And the elephants stay far away as well. That's the Disney Conservation Fund Elephants and Bees project that we are currently working on.
Yeah, the duckies.
To the left is a flamboyance of greater pink flamingo. Those are the lightest of the pink flamingo species. They do get their light pink color from the beta carotene in the brine shrimp that they eat, and they are actually hatched a gray color. And they do not develop that light pink color until they are about a year of age. So the little gray ones that are over there to the right, those are actually baby pink flamingo. About 11 of them were hatched here at Disney's Animal Kingdom in the past 4 months.
She just fed her baby.
The baby.
Yeah, I got it on video.
Looks like our wardens may have caught a poacher in the area and confiscated some elephant tusks and rhinoceros horns. Over to the left is a mud dwelling hole. Elephants and rhinos will both use mud dwelling holes. They will use the water to cool off. And they use the mud as a natural means of bug repellent as well as sunscreen. Straight up ahead of us is an area known as Duma Ridge. Duma is the Afrikaans word for cheetah, for the cheetahs that are sometimes up in the area to the left over there. Cheetahs do run at speeds of about 70 miles per hour, but they are not long distance runners. They can only run short distances at those speeds. Other animals can actually pursue them to a state of exhaustion. All the way up in the tree area to the left, all the way towards the back, you can just barely see there is a cheetah back there laying down. There's like a broken down tree in between two trees, and it's like straight back from that.
I can't.
Every once in a while it might flick its tail, but there it goes. It just flicked the tail.
I see it.
I see it.
Where?
You can
See it.
almost only see their tails flick because their tail has got the black and white tip.
Go through here.
But they blend in very well with the fallen leaves.
I don't see anything.
Now when you do see one in a singular unit like that, you are probably seeing a female. The males tend to form small bachelor groups known as cheetah coalitions. Straight up ahead of us and on the left is a very large rock formation, and we look to the top of the large rock formations for the very large predators that might be looking out over the savanna and into the tall grass to identify what prey they might actually be interested in pursuing. Do you see some animals up to the right?
Right.
There's a white rhinoceros over to the right. That's a whole crash of white rhinoceros. They're not actually white, they are actually gray, but they get the name white from the Afrikaans word white, which does mean wide because they do have a wide mouth for grazing. They're about 5,000 pounds, which makes them roughly 3,000 pounds more than a black rhinoceros. There's also a buntabak laying down over there, as well as some female ostrich. We'll get a better look at those. Looks like those predators might actually be out hunting somewhere. Straight up ahead of us and on the left are some burrows, and if you look inside those burrows and you see anything white sticking out, you might be seeing a warthog's tusk. They do tend to back into the burrows of other animals and extend their tusks outwards to ward off predators.
Yeah, I see him.
Timon, maybe.
Timon.
I did see
Pumbaa. Yeah, Pumbaa. Yeah.
Over to the right is another view of that crash of white rhinoceros, as well as the buntabak and some female ostrich. Female ostrich have brownish gray feathers. The male ostrich are very stunning with black and white feathers. There are some ostrich eggs over to the right as well. Those weigh about 3 to 5 pounds each, and they can withstand up to 250 pounds of pressure. That allows them to survive out on the savanna with all the other animals that might possibly step on them.
The egg, 200, because I
200 pounds of pressure.
heard him.
Now, as we exit the savanna region of our tour, we are entering into the Magadi Glen.